This video is going to walk you through the optional independent novel project that is being offered for the second trimester. To find the information about this optional project, you simply start at your English 7 Schoology course. This project is offered in the second folder down on the Materials page. So when I click on this folder, there are two items: the introduction to the project, which we will go over, and then the actual project itself. I will now open up the introduction. So here's the project for the independent novel for trimester 2. Dear families, being a skilled reader is an important element for success at school and in the everyday world, and the best way to become a skilled reader is to read. So students can read one independent novel of their choice and complete a summative project this trimester. Here's where it's a little different from trimester 1. This novel will be chosen by the student from his or her resources. This means that the school will not be providing the novel. So students, if you want to read a novel this trimester and complete a project, it'll need to be from your home library, the public library, or if you have access to ebooks, which you do have through Osseo Middle. This novel does need to be at the grade level, so it should be a middle school level book or higher, which means you cannot use picture books, and it must be 100 pages or more. Now, because this needs to be grade level, this novel cannot be a comic book or a graphic novel or contain a high level of illustrations versus text. Some examples of these would be the Dogman books, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, or the Big Nate books. These books are at least 50% picture, and you need to be reading a text that is mostly words. So please keep this in mind when you are choosing your independent novel for trimester 2. Here's another change. This project is optional, meaning you don't have to do it for trimester 2. A student's trimester grade will not be impacted if he or she chooses to not do the project. Now, on the other hand, if towards the end of the trimester you're asking him about ways to bring your grade up, my recommendation will be to do this project, because this would be adding an extra summative to the grade book, which could help your grade. But again, if you choose to not do this project, it will not impact your grade in a negative way. It is optional. The project is also different this trimester. Instead of a Google slide presentation, the project is going to be a graphic organizer that is used to analyze the novel, and this graphic organizer is provided in Schoology in this independent novel folder. You will complete the graphic organizer using the Kami Chrome extension, which is a tool we regularly use in class. The project, if you do choose to do it, must be submitted to Schoology by March 5th of 2021. Now, this project is a summative assessment, so if you turn it in, it will count as a summative grade. So it will need to be detailed and accurate. The project cannot be redone or resubmitted for a higher score. So you have to ask for clarification or help before the due date. Now, students can begin their project as soon as they choose a novel and start reading. Everything that you would need is right here in this folder on Schoology. Now, any independent reading that you do is done as homework. Remember, you have 20 minutes of reading time and advisory every week, and Friday is also a great day to read, since Friday tends to be more of a catch-up day. All right, so now that we have introduced this optional project, that you can choose to do or not do this trimester, I'm going to show you the project. It is simply the second item here. When you click on this, here's the project, which you will open and complete with Cami, and then turn in when you're done. The project is optional, but it is also summative, which means doing well on it can boost your grade. So I'm going to open this up with Cami. And here's the graphic organizer you would fill out. You've got a spot here for the title and author of whatever novel you choose to read. And then you would analyze the novel for all of those literature terms we've been studying. The characters, such as the protagonist and the antagonist. Do notice that you need to tell me who they are and describe them. You would tell me what point of view your story was written in. Was it first or third person? If it was first person, who was the narrator? You'll tell me the setting of your novel by naming and describing the location and telling me the time frame. You'll share what the theme of your novel was, as in the life lesson that you learned from it. On the second page of your graphic organizer, you'll tell me about the main conflict in 4 to 5 sentences. You'll tell me if the main conflict was internal or external, and you'll tell me what type of conflict it was. Then you'll fill out a plot chart, starting with the complicating incident, which is what started the main conflict. You'll tell me about the rising action, which will be at least 2 things that happened while your characters tried to solve the conflict. You'll tell me about the climax, which is the decision or choice that led to the conflict getting solved. And then you'll finally tell me about the resolution, which is how the story ended. So the project is really just analyzing your novel using all the lit terms we studied during trimester 1. Now the final page is the grading rubric, and this is for me to fill out after you have submitted the project if you choose to do it. And I will go through your analysis and give you credit for accurate responses. Please note you will also get some extra points based off of your grammar. So please use accurate spelling, capitalization, and punctuation. And then you'll get a final score, which will then be entered as a summative grade into the grade book. If this is something that you're interested in and you have more questions, please contact Mrs. Borkerding using your Schoology messages. If you don't think you're going to have time to read a novel this trimester, that's okay, because this project is optional.